piss anyone off or cause any problems. But at least in my attitude towards it, my view on it is that I would much rather have a conversation with where I disagree with somebody and open up their views and their ideas, and hopefully like change them a little bit as a person, or at least get them to think a bit. I think that's a lot more interesting than just agreeing with somebody. And I can definitely say some of my favorite conversations I've had are ones where I don't agree with someone. Um, I know you said something um, to me a while ago about how you like that idea, but you wouldn't really enjoy a podcast where somebody is like two people are disagreeing with each other the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you think there's a good balance between the agreeing and the disagreeing, or is there one you want more of?
I guess in the sense of I think if people agree in like a discussion, you should still try to build upon your opinions.
Even if you agree, yeah.
Like you can still elaborate on what someone says.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that can help keep it interesting. And I think if you're constantly disagreeing, first of all, I think disagreements like lead to longer conversations.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So if you're having a really long conversation with someone and you're constantly disagreeing, you're not really going to talk about much because you're going to spend so much time trying to find common ground. Just explaining your argument, they'll explain their side, and you keep going until you eventually find common ground or drop it.
Yeah. You don't always need to find common ground though. It's just you can just still throw out some ideas and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, at least for me, I think there's a really awesome way to discuss things and disagree with each other. And I think if two people were doing that for an hour on a podcast and it always stayed interesting and entertaining, I would be good with that. But obviously, if it started to get personal and they started to get upset, and it was more of a full on argument, that would be a lot less fun to listen to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the agreeing part of it and the disagreeing part, but I think it's more for me. I weight a disagreement more than a agreement, like at least in my personal life. But I guess I can't really say which one is more fun to listen to. I think it would be disagreements, but
I still think, like, whether you disagree or agree, I think if you explain an interesting opinion, I'll still enjoy it a lot. Like, just something that'll make me think. Whether I agree or disagree, like, I think you can, like, elaborate on a thought. Like, something I agree with, you can elaborate it in a sense that, like, betters my understanding.
yeah,
So even though,
that's
like, I
definitely
still,
that's
even though,
definitely more
like,
important.
I completely agree with you, it still does change my way of thinking by like giving me more information on this topic I already agree with.
Another big part of it is that a lot of the times you'll agree on a main point, but you'll just disagree about some, I don't know, like the language or like a turn of phrase or something.
Like semantics.
Yeah, you'll disagree on like the little details, even though you're ultimately still agreeing. And I like those conversations a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
because then it just opens up more questions and more things to have ideas about and to agree and disagree about. But yeah, it just really bothers me the way that a lot of people feel about it, and it's something that they try to avoid, I guess, which is why people continuously have the same thoughts over and over again and just justify them to themselves instead of actually trying to open up a different viewpoint.
I think that sort of comes out of a fear of arguments.
Yeah.
Like you can't really predict whether like what you say will or will not cause an argument. You don't like uh it's not entirely under your control whether or not like it'll become an argument or not. You might say something that'll strike a nerve with them.
Yeah.
And upset that person. They'll get mad at you.
Also, you can definitely say that you would need to be at least pretty good friends with somebody until you're comfortable, like actually disagreeing with them, because at least for the first few times, you're not going to really know how they react to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to really upset them and like hurt the friendship if it's going well so far. So I think it gets hard for a lot of people with that too. They just need good friends first. Um, and it's always confronting to like say I disagree with you for the first time to somebody, especially if you like them a lot.
Yeah.
But
And I think another part of that is like it is like how you said it's difficult to have disagreements with people you're not that close to. But like the vast majority of the people we interact with are like coworkers that we're not really that close with.
yeah,
So having disagreements with coworkers,
yeah, that's true.
it's just a bit more I don't know, scary in a way.
Yeah, like out of the
It's
whatever.
like you don't want to like piss this person off, and then
Mhm.
well, you absolutely don't know what will piss them off, and then if you do piss them off, it makes work worse because
Yeah.
they don't like you.
Yeah, like I would say out of the 60 to 70 people I might see in a week, I've really only had discussions that turned into disagreements with maybe like three, four, five of them, and they're just my friends. Because I definitely don't do it a lot with
Hmm.
people I'm not friends with because it's confronting and scary, and you don't really know. But
Yeah.
the payoff for it is great if everything actually goes well and both people are mature and or at
Hmm.
least act mature for that one conversation.
I guess kind of an example of this is at work. I've told you this story about the group of people talking about like the drug, like the junkies.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you can tell
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah, I guess I'll explain it. Basically, it's a little messed up, but
It's a
I
good.
was sitting down at this like the lunch table with like about six of my coworkers, and they were talking about like the issue with heroin addicts, sort of like leaving needles around the city, like especially in by the river,
Yeah, yeah.
and how there was a girl. Well, no, actually, it was a boy. It was a girl in a different uh, city, but there was a boy, and he got stabbed with a needle when he was fishing with his grandfather, and they were basically saying how they think the junkie should be killed. And one woman even said that if she was given a gun by the police, she'd do it herself for free. And like I disagree with that incredibly heavily. I don't think you should just kill people because they made a really bad decision
Yeah,
to do heroin. I think you should try to help them.
yeah. That's
But like I didn't say anything. I just sort of looked down and just kept eating my salad.